You know what's better than the moment that I looked into my son's eyes? The first time that he was born and realized that I would always have this happiness for the rest of my life. That's right, Mega Random. Mega Random is better than that. And today we are casting a Mega Random game between Jaggernaut24 playing as the Khmer here in the left-hand side of the map, 9 o'clock position, up against the Malians, Salix 791, who is favorited to lose this game as they are playing on the back foot. And this is a big thing, a big game for Jaggernaut, because if they do win this game, they will and should be going up to 800 elo. I believe that when you're playing a player who is lower than you in elo, you should still be able to get elo off of that. But it's not going to be that many points, but I imagine 4 points is probably gonna do the trick. Jaggernaut just clicked up to Fugal Age, and our red player will be about 40 seconds behind. Have a little scout action going over here in the front of the Somalians. I really need to start familiarizing myself more with the tech trees of teams that I don't see as often, and I think the Malians are not one I'm that familiar with, so I looked up before. You could say that they are like an anti-infantry, cavalry, and infantry civilization, because they do get this random tech that I had never heard of, which I believe is an Imperial Age castle tech. It gives their scouts +5 attack. Speaking of scouts getting +5 attack, we have the red scout scouting over here for our red player, seeing what's going on, and red going to wall up tip to tip these palisade walls, but I'm not sure if they're actually able to in this map. I think they can, because I think on this section of the map that has kind of the wood and the water, you can build over, which is good. And a lot of hunt on this map to be had. Jaggernaut themselves also playing a little bit defensive. They're going to wall up the wood line over here, make sure the scouts don't get in. And looks like red is not playing super aggressive, just getting a little vision about what's going on with their scout. And they're going to run that scout away from these spearmen, 4 spearmen on the map. And it looks like both players are just going to kind of play a chill defensive game. And just relax. Maybe go up to Castle Age as soon as possible. This is something a little interesting. Archery range now coming in for blue, which is, I think, a bit atypical. Typically, when I say Jaggernaut playing the Khmer, I typically see 2 stable and a blacksmith. So this is kind of a little bit different. But the Malians, they do have a castle unit called the Gabetto, which is an anti-infantry unit. It's pretty similar. I'm not sure if it's actually identical to the Franks throwing axeman, because it delivers a ranged melee attack. So I think a good counter to that would be archers. So maybe that's what Jaggernaut is thinking in this game, just to get the archery range set up, get the 2 skirmishers up, or maybe it could be just for the anti-infantry upgrades that the Malians get. But honestly, red not doing much here. Seems like they're really interested in just going straight up to Castle Age. I think they might be missing a building. They do have the market. I do not see the second required Castle Age building, so they might have goofed up a little, or maybe not. So there might be something I'm missing here, because they are, okay, here's blacksmith, so they are able to click up to castle, and they should be beating blue to castle pretty handily, because we see that blue has, I think, too much gold in this case to go up to castle first, but they do have 14 people on food as the villager pump continues. Looks like red is just going to stop villager production and go straight up to castle at 29. Going to play super defensive, which means I think that red has a very, very specific plan in mind. I'm not sure if they just want to spam the Gabetto. Not even sure if blue is aware of this plan that is going on right now. As the blue, okay, I like this move. I really like this move. The blue spearman is going to go forward and just see what's going on. This is some higher elo stuff going on from Jaggernaut, who, looking at their games, kind of has a tendency to stay in their base and just spam the elephants. I think they're probably still going to go for that elephant strategy, in consideration they just built a stable. And they should be going near castle in about a minute or two. 30 seconds away now from red to go to castle, who is leaving their scout here in the front, and blue scouting all the way around the outside is going to see that red is mostly palisade walled up, tip to tip. Second stable now coming in for Jaggernaut as they see that red is in castle. Red going to start perhaps scaling some of the stable units. As I said, there is an Imperial Age upgrade which gives +5 attack to stable units. Jaggernaut not going up to castle themselves. It's good that blue already has some spearmen in the mix. That should be a good counter to the potential red stable units that are coming in, but red doesn't know what to do because now they're getting man-at-arms as an upgrade, so might be one of those players who's just clicking a bunch of upgrades and maybe not going in here with a plan, but red going to come out with this knight and maybe go out for a little harassment. Second TC now coming in from red. And it looks like blue's going to stay on their typical plan of probably spamming these elephants. Here's something a little bit different, which I'd love to see. A third stable, which if you have the wood and you're going all in on this elephant strategy, is a much better strategy to do to get this third stable so you can get elephants out in parallel across 3 stables instead of 2. And red, I think, missing a pretty big opportunity here to come and get the attack. I don't think blue is actually aware of these knights that are over here congregating on the field. Blue continuing to scout with their spearmen. I would also like to see, speaking of scaling the stables, more stables coming in. Red, reading my mind. Going to start scaling more stables coming in here from red. We're going to hide in the trees and congregate and think about when is the right time to strike. I honestly think it's right now. I mean, you got an entire exposed wood line over here. You can take out these spearmen if they wanted to. They're just going to bide their time, and now we are on the move. Spearmen going to come in here and probably attack the wood line. See a few spearmen, which should be taken out pretty easily. Let's see how Jaggernaut reacts. Laggard villagers here are probably going to go straight to heaven or hell or purgatory, and depending on what you believe. All the villagers go down, and 10 knights. Okay, so this is different. This is really different. 10 knights now coming out for Jaggernaut, and I tend to see them always play elephants when they're playing Khmer. Townbell does come in. No, Townbell comes out. Townbell comes back in from Jaggernaut, and they're going to stay on 10 knights and start scaling them. Khmer do get a nice little cavalry upgrade for their tech tree. A nice little thing about ringing the town bell when you're Khmer is that the villagers who can garrison inside the houses, they will also go inside the houses when you get the town bell out. But Jaggernaut taking a lot of hits here as the town bell gets rung again. And yeah, a lot of economic stuff. I think blue should be able to chase this and clear this out. It's Jaggernaut just showing a poker face and not panicking. Town bell gets unrung and villagers are back to work. I think maybe some wood problems will eventually surface themselves as Jaggernaut is only on 5 wood at this point. While the red eco, which continues to have villagers pumping on 2 TCs, is unharassed. So this is a pretty big problem now for blue, who is really economically behind. At this point, they don't even have their second TC out, but what they do have is a lot of knights. So I think if blue is able to clear this out, then they're going to have a lot easier times putting red on the back foot. But red responding now by pumping out some camels out of their stables to counter these knights, which is a good decision. Stable upgrade now coming in for the armor for blue as they're starting to chase these knights. I don't think either player has the upgrade yet. 1.3 speed on these knights for both teams. Red taking a really, really bad fight here. Against the blue knights are completely outnumbered. And now we're going to see husbandry come in from blue, which means they should be able to take off these knights and chase them down. Don't even need it. And the economy is back up and booming. I would like to see a second TC coming at this point from blue so they can catch up on the villager count. But to be honest, red is not taking a massive advantage as it relates to using the both their TCs to keep on pumping out villagers. They're just on camels right now, and they really need to dump all their wood. They're at 1,000 wood at this point, compared to Jaggernaut, who's a much better balanced eco. Wood getting fixed on the right-hand side over here. We'd like to see a TC protecting the gold, getting up on the wood, something. And it looks like red is going to start maybe getting some pikemen out as they're getting a squire upgrade. A lot of camels here now for red. Really, really good for the defense. Villager pump back on for blue. And I think red is really missing a big opportunity to build more buildings and dump this wood, because the wood game is killing them a lot right now. We'd also like to see the second TC coming over to here for blue. That would really put them back in the game. Would extend the game quite a bit. And both players are just kind of chilling for now. But blue says, I'm not going to chill. I'm going to go in for a counterattack and break in the base. And this is not a really good fight that you want to take here with these camels giving chase. Camels do get a pretty big attack bonus against cavalry units. So they are mobility cavalry units. And blue goes back to base, but does get the heart monitor going for red, who is going to build back up their palisade wall. So this game is back and forth. I think both players are pretty much even in terms of their capabilities to win. So it's really anyone's game at this point. Jaggernaut now reacting, getting some barracks up so they can start scaling the pikemen probably to counter some of these camels. More spearmen now in the queue for blue, as I think red is missing a really, really big opportunity to boom here. As I said, they have been keeping the villager pump going, but now Jaggernaut is closing the gap in terms of villager production. They really need to dump this wood and do something else with it. I would like to see them getting on stone, scaling the farms, something else. I mean, at this point, even a 3 TC option is available to red. And red over here, who has now hit over 700 stone, is maybe thinking about a castle drop. They are getting the villagers into position, but the villager pump has stopped. The fight should become a little bit more difficult now for red, as they have 7 pikemen in the queue. Blue finally opening up with their second TC, which is a good option. Small investment of 1 villager, keeping the economy alive. And I would like to see a lot more military coming in here from Jaggernaut, unless they're planning on going up to Imperial, which they need more buildings for, because they are approaching, I think, the halfway point for getting to Imperial. But it looks like the camel riders are going to lead the charge, and the villagers are going to stay behind them. And Congregate perhaps contemplating a castle drop, who knows. Third TC now coming in here for red. A lot of stuff going on. Getting nearly unlimited access to wood, which they really don't need. They need to dump more wood at this point, to be honest. Red now coming in here for a fight against the knights and the pikemen, which is going to be, I think, a really bad fight for red. I think the pikemen are going to do too much damage to these camels, and it should be an absolute clear out. Military pop dropping for red much faster than blue. So Jaggernaut on the ready to take out these camels, and the camels are gone for red. TC idle for both players. So still anyone's game. I think a castle drop or defensive or offensive wood could really change the game for either player. But now the villager pump is back on for Jaggernaut, who is beefing up their economy. I think that red is a bit shook by this because their queue is mostly dead. They are getting a defensive castle up here on the front, which I think is a good choice, because after you get kicked in the teeth like that, you definitely need to be a little scaredy boy and make sure that you protect your base from a potential night raid. This is a great opportunity at this point for Jaggernaut to get a counterattack after they took out the entire army, and it looks like that's what they're thinking. I would also like to see Jaggernaut, well, I was going to say a little bit more on stone, but now the stone pump is coming, because getting a center castle, a forward castle, would be really, really devastating for red. As both players are, well, not both, I would say that as Jaggernaut is thinking about going up to Imperial, they have the resources for it. They almost have the buildings for it. They would need siege, monastery, castle, or something else. But the military mass is pretty big for Jaggernaut, and red having a personality crisis as they get the long swordsman upgrade, despite having 0 militia line units on the field, which even if they did, they'd be scaling out of 1 barrack. So if anyone can explain that to me in the comments, please comment below. Might be one of those panic clicks. They might be thinking that perhaps the camels themselves can perhaps turn into camel riders with long swords. I'm not sure if anyone's explained to Red that's not how Age of Empires works. But do let me know in the comments if you think that's a good or bad decision from a military perspective. Looks like Blue is now building infrastructure in the front, getting some forward houses to surround the stone. They're probably going to do a rain summoning ritual with these houses, but they're not quite aligned, so I don't think that's going to end up working. But it does give a little more vision to Blue to see what's going on with Red if they decide to come through the middle. Large production upgrades and vision now coming in for Red as they are furthering delaying their Imperial timing, and it looks like Blue is on their way to Imperial. So here's what I would like to see from Blue at this point. You're going up to Imperial, and maybe your opponent is going up as well. You don't know. But your timing is good. So you get a castle to protect maybe this stone and this stone a little back. Don't want your opponent to see it. And that's going to put you in a great position to start trebbing if you get there first. They can buy a castle right now if they want to, but maybe there's not a huge rush to get a castle. Monastery now coming in from Blue in the back, also getting the university, which is good for getting upgrades. And the economy is pumping for Blue, has now exceeded the amount of villagers that Red has, and Red is not pumping, having a lot of economic problems. But here comes the longswordman. Well, I shouldn't say plural. Well, now it's plural because there's two of them. And these two longswordmen should be able to flip the script. Not only that, but the two longswordsmen are also getting a +1 attack each for forging, which is a fuel age tech. I think that once the Jaggernaut sees these two longswordmen, they should be uninstalling Age of Empires. As Jaggernaut does read my mind. I'm going to get a castle that protects both this stone and this stone. So military strategy from Jaggernaut. Really, really good, actually. Jaggernaut also going to get ballistics, which is an interesting choice to spend money on, because the only thing it does for them, in consideration that they have no range units, is make the castle fire more accurate. Fletching is going to help. It's going to give that castle a bit more attack, a bit more range. And looks like they want even more range, so Bodkin Arrow now coming in and giving the castle more range. Ballistics a bit of a weird choice. Red getting some more upgrades on these long swordsmen. They have 5 long swordsmen now in the military, so that should be an absolute game changer for Red. Chemistry now coming in for Blue, which I don't think they really need. I mean, you get the Treb out. It gives an option if you want to start building bombard cannons later on. But chemistry also gives some upgrades to archers if you had any on the field, but right now Jaggernaut is mostly pike and knight heavy, which is a really, really gaunt composition, and the TC is absolutely popping off for Jaggernaut as they have 10 in the queue, compared, if you look at the top right, 0 in the queue, and here come the camels. So I'm not sure if they've actually spotted the castle yet over here. No, they have absolutely no clue about the forward infrastructure. And they think they're going to be sneaky and go around for this counterattack, which honestly, even if they did know about the castle, it is the right decision because you need to get your opponent a little bit on tilt. Blue has nothing at home to defend themselves against this raid coming over here. But Blue also getting another castle in the front as Red clicks up to Imperial. But now the raid's coming in and Blue has nothing to defend. I don't think this should matter that much. I think that you'd have to see a lot better micro out of Red in order to see really, really big damage coming in, because the problems on the front are going to start mounting, as now we have going to see 3 trebuchets coming out on the map, and Jaggernaut does need to take these trebuchets and attack immediately. Need to attack immediately on the castle, which I believe that they can see. They should attack immediately. Yep, they're going forward. Here we go. And they should be ranging down this castle. They should not go too forward. And Red absolutely stunned as the camels are going to come over here and watch the absolute shit show unfold. They might try to snipe these trebuchets. I would say that do not, let's say Blue, not good decision to bring your army forward. Just stay back. Just chill and watch the shit show unfold. Is this the Imperial TC? No, wow, that would have been crazy if that was the Imperial TC, because that would have put Red back to Age of Empires 1, as we all know. And I don't think Blue needs to take this fight. I think they just need to go back to the trebuchets and just relax. But this is putting a lot of pressure on red, as they are going to fight some of the pikemen. And red coming over here as a desperation tactic, going to start sniping these trebs. But I think the GG should be coming in from red any moment. And this is why I said that blue just needs to keep their army back here, as they are sniping some of the trebs, which is not good. Bracer now coming in from blue, which is going to give even more range to the castle fire. And blue able to get exactly one trebuchet out, which is going to... no, that's blue's trebuchet, not red. Going to be able to attack the opponent's market, as we see heavy camel rider now coming in for the 0 camels that that red has on the map. Long swordsmen are still in the game. They're still here to defend the remnants of the slowly crumbling base. And more trebuchets now coming in. Khmer now getting in their ballista elephants, which should be quite deadly. If you can micro this ballista elephant just against these long swords and bring them back into the castle, that would be bad. I'd love to see the variety coming in from Jaggernaut. Honestly, this is the best game they have played so far, as they're probably going to go up to 800 elo after this game is over. Maybe some miss micro, but you're making the game even more messy for red. I think you come in here and you start the slaughter now. I think you keep on pumping out even more military units. 26 long swordsmen now in the queue from what? 2 barracks? 2 barracks coming in from red. I don't think that's going to do the trick. And GG coming in from red. So really, really well played from both players. I think there was a really, really big missed opportunity and really, really bad micro fights that red took beginning of the front, which kind of led to their demise. I think the only thing that I would like to see different from Jaggernaut is getting the second TC a little bit earlier. And but for the most part, that was a really nice game.